Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Masculine Minute. I am your solo host today, Matthew Ace Haggerty. I appreciate everybody listening, everybody checking this in. If you can see on the detail sheet or whatever the heck that is, today is talking about being uncomfortable. And I can say, without my partner in crime here right now, these solo missions, I'm a little uncomfortable when they start. But you know what? I do them anyways. And the reason why, and I'm going to give the cat's out of the bag already, I'm going to give away the secret sauce. Being comfortable with being uncomfortable is the way you progress in life, no matter what. No matter what you've done in the past, no matter what you're doing in the present, and no matter what you're going to do in the future, there is no growth if you feel comfortable. Being comfortable essentially is a feeling of satisfaction with what's going on right now. And if you want to have goals, ambitions, things to do and create in this world, you have to be uncomfortable. Now, what's your definition of being uncomfortable? Does it mean you're physically stressed or strained? Does it mean you're emotionally stressed or strained? Essentially, uncomfortable just means you're taking where you are right now and you're stretching it out a little bit. Think of a rubber band. My partner might not be here, but I will use his analogies all the time. So imagine a rubber band. You pull the rubber band, and this creates tension. And the longer you pull it, the more tension you're going to have, the harder it's going to be to keep pulling it. And the crazy thing is, when you let go of that rubber band, what happens? There's this strain in the rubber band that it's now longer than it was before. It has memory in that when you stressed it, you strained it, it got longer. And when it came back, it is now changed forever. And that's all being uncomfortable is doing. It doesn't mean you have to push yourself. Think of a rubber band one more time. Let's pull, 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 pull. If you keep pulling, what's going to happen? Pop! It's going to snap. That's what happens when we push ourselves too hard, when we push ourselves over the edge. There's a very, very good book by Dan Data, and it's called The Way of the Superior Man. It's a very quick and easy read. It was one of the foundational books that I read when I was discovering my masculinity and taking my path down the masculine path. David Data, The Way of the Superior Man. What he talks about in that book is, as men, think of yourself on a cliff. You got to push yourself to the edge of that cliff. You can't push yourself too far because you're going to fall over that cliff. However, if you push yourself to the edge of that cliff every single day, you will grow. You will be uncomfortable, but you will change your perspective in life and you will crave being uncomfortable. I was on my buddy's podcast the other day, Zach Day, the Right Now show. 3 young guys, all in their mid to early 20s. And these guys are physical specimens, man. They are on top of their health and fitness. And we had talked about this, having a lifestyle of pushing yourself, having a lifestyle of not doing what everybody else does. Because if we do what everybody else does, we're going to get the results of everybody else. But anyone that wants something more in life, wants something better in life than just average, you're going to have to do the things that other people won't do. Other people think they can't do. And the crazy thing is, we all can do whatever we think we can do, no matter what. Yesterday, I talked about doing the impossible. Being uncomfortable is required to do the impossible. Being uncomfortable is required to do anything. Just think of your relationships with your wife, your kids, your friends. Remember when the first time you went and talked to your wife? She wasn't your wife back then. She wasn't your fiance back then. She wasn't even your girlfriend back then. But you pushed yourself into an uncomfortable realm. Or let's say you were good at talking to women, probably pretty uncomfortable asking her to be your fiance, taking that leap of faith, that commitment, the fear of possibly getting rejected. I just want to say that in this time of comfort here in America, here in the world, for the most part, at least the developed part of the world, we have comforts all around us. And that doesn't mean we can't enjoy our couch, our bed, our Netflix, all of that. It's all great, but it has to be in moderation. Because if you spend too much time in comfort, not only are you not going to grow, you're actually going to regress. And that's what this whole journey is about. As men, there are three basic pillars of being a masculine man. One, you must have a battle to fight. You think it gets comfortable being in a battle? It's anything but that. Number two, you have an adventure. You need to be a part of an adventure. Ventures are exciting, right? But are they comfortable? Think of an adventure you took. Once again, being uncomfortable, exploring the unknown. That's what the definition of an adventure is, seeking the unknown. And the third part of being a masculine man is you need a beauty to fight for. And I just touched on that. A beauty to fight for. That is not comfort. So the three things that require you to be a masculine man, a battle to fight, an adventure to have, and a beauty to save. All of those things require being uncomfortable. Yes, we need to relax. Yes, we need to replenish our bodies and rejuvenate ourselves. But it's in the times of growth that I actually rejuvenate myself. I don't know how most of you spend your Sundays, but I used to have this belief that Sunday was rest day, right? Sunday's a day of rest. I'm a Christian man. So I would just lay around on Sundays, watch football, watch TV, barbecue, probably drink a little bit. And you know what I found on Sundays? If I listened to my body and my emotions, I found anxiety. I found stress. I found worry about the week coming up. And I did not look forward to the week coming up. So you know what I do on my Sundays now? I get up usually around 4:30 or 5:30. So I get up the same time that I get up every day. I go to church. I plan out my week. I spend about an hour planning out my week. And then I work on a project that gives me fulfillment, whether it's doing things for Operation Rescue Children, whether it's working on things with my ACE business and the ACE brand, whether it's doing anything that gives me some sort of growth and contribution. That's how I spend my Sundays. And I'm not lying around. I'm not super comfortable, but I'm growing and I'm giving. And that has completely changed my Sundays and the entire week, because no longer do I not look forward to my Sundays. When I don't do my weekly planning, when I don't go to church, which actually never happens, but when I don't work on a project that gives me just so much satisfaction, that's when my week starts getting out of alignment. That's when I start slacking off in other things, getting up a little bit later, being okay with being a little more comfortable. So, how do you spend your Sundays? How do you deal with being uncomfortable? Because being uncomfortable is not a bad thing. Being uncomfortable is the best thing. That is the best gift we get as men, because it means progress. Yes, there's going to be failures. That is a given. But the failures are just clues and opportunities to grow even more. So don't look at being uncomfortable as a bad thing. It is the best thing that can happen to a man because it means we are going down the right path, the path of righteousness, the path of being able to provide, protect, and change not only our lives, but the lives of everybody around us. So I'm going to sign off here in a minute. I would love to get your input. Please, if you haven't done this already, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, go to a podcast on Spotify and Apple. Subscribe to this podcast. Tell one or two friends of yours about this show. I show up every single morning. It might be uncomfortable at times, but I show up with or without Joshua. I live for being uncomfortable because I choose to be uncomfortable. And so reach out to me, ace@superherobydesign.com. Subscribe to this podcast, The Masculine Minute. Tell your friends, and let's keep this movement going. I really appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Have a great Wednesday, and you bet your ass you'll see me tomorrow morning.